Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Stacia. So I've been spending pretty much the entire day on here. It's been about a day since our last recording. And I've been on here mostly just working around the base, running some AE2, which we're going to talk about. Now, one thing to note, and I've got this turned off at the moment. Luckily, while I slept, we've got tons of polonium, so it's not a big deal that it's off right now. But you'll notice here that our damage is super high. It has not exploded, but I think that is because FTB utilities saved me. There shouldn't have been this issue. Okay, with the way that we set it up, everything was good. But for whatever reason, like I logged on today and I just pretty much died almost instantly because I was near this. And then I died a few more times, and then I had to go into creative to come over here and figure out what had happened, right? Because if it was a legitimate problem, then, well, we'd solve it, we'd fix it. But it wasn't really a legitimate problem. For whatever reason, this mechanism cable just stopped pulling out power. Just completely stopped pulling out power. The energy cell was sitting about right here, basically where the diesel caps out. But the turbine was just setting on full power, full steam. And this had ran out of coolant, of course. There was nowhere for that to go, so that's the reason the damage is up high. So it's going to be a few days before I can run this again, which is fine. Like I said, we've got tons of polonium, and I've ran through what I need polonium for right this second. But this had just completely stopped extracting power. Like, it was just sitting here. It was like, I'm not going to pull any of the power, even though this was capped on power. Power couldn't go anywhere. The inner cell had plenty of space. So of course down here it was saying, yeah, you can keep running because this isn't field. But it wasn't sending the power anywhere. The universal cable was set up exactly the same way that we had it and everything, and it's setting receive only, and it was just sitting here with no power in the ultimate universal cable and just chilling. And I'm not really sure what the cause of that is. I'm going to do, before I run this again, I'm going to do some more bug testing, and I may make some more turbine valves and just run a different cable, like a power cable or something, just in case. Because this just completely ignored the fact that there was power in there. It's all in the same chunk. I did shift it over one block just to line it up with this a little bit more, but then set it up just like this. So I don't know what caused that, but it was a little bit of a nightmare when I logged in. I accrued 3 deaths from that, so yay. But beyond that, everything else is looking good. You could see we've got a little bit of waste in here. Of course, this isn't really an issue because if this ever backs up, then all this will kind of start backing up and then eventually back up down here and end up shutting off the fission reactor casing. I don't know for sure what happened there. So I've just got this turned off at the moment, but you can see that I did build this out a little bit. Actually, after the last episode, I spent a little bit of time building this little area out, starting on the build. It's not completely finished, but this little like sub-building here. And if you want to see it from the back, like that, you can see some cables up there. I have spent the day, pretty much, after I fixed this, almost non-stop working on AE2. It has been a lot of fun. So we'll go ahead, I guess we'll pop downstairs first, just give you a really quick brief tour of the base and what I've been working on. So over here you can see this cable comes through. Now anytime you see a yellow cable on my base, that means it's part of the P2P network. That's all it is. That's the only purpose for the yellow cable. So anytime you see that, that means it's running a P2P line, and you can see there's a P2P tunnel there. We're using 6 channels on this line. I've pretty much ran mostly dense smart cable. Now through here I've just been running Fluix just because it's cheap and easy. We actually had a lot of string built up from a drawer that I had, and we've got a bunch of string in our storage drawers, so I've actually just been using that for my my dense cable. It's been working fine for us. But this runs out. It plugs up to all the stuff that's down here, as well as to our glass and aquamarine storage. Now I'm not doing super Soren for this because I've got lots of channels, so I'm just kind of like, meh, whatever. So we're just running this straight out as storage to all of this, and that's really all that's down here at the moment. We're going to do the blood magic altar and Britannia and stuff down here before too long, but not just yet. Now, if we head up, there's something up there. If we come up here, you could say I did get this all ran. And so what we've got going on here is I've got just a line of 7 ME controllers. This is probably as fancy as we're going to get for our controller. We're doing something a lot more fancy on Enigmatica. This week has been like AE2. Between Enigmatica and on here, I've just been doing tons of AE2 this week, it feels like. But basically 7 ME controllers lined up, and then I have basically dense cables, 2 of each color except for yellow and lime. And then yellow is, like I said, just specifically that's going to be P2P network. So you can see these all come out straight into P2Ps, and these go different places. So you can see some channel usage on some of this. So there's 12. A lot of this not super used at the moment, but like this line here is actually laid out over there, and it will be using all the channels, but I just haven't made enough interfaces yet, basically. And then I've moved our terminals over here. We're going to have more terminals set up in other places, but for right now I've just got them all kind of set up here. And I've been going through adding a lot of patterns. I did make a color applicator, and I made an ME chest, so what we can do is we can drop that color applicator in there, and I've just been making matter balls and coloring everything through the color applicator instead of making specific types of colored dense cable, you know. And then these cables, basically they go up. The P2P network comes up, and right here we've got an energy acceptor. Right below that is a power cell, ender cell, and then below that is our ME controller that runs down. This goes up into another ME controller, so we've got a total of 8 ME controllers. But like I said last episode, once we got the polonium, it's easy to make them. It's just that polonium that was difficult or resource intensive. And then that comes up. So basically we have 28 channels. So, you know, 7 times 4, 28 from the P2P networks that comes up. And then this goes out, that goes out, and that goes out. So we're basically bringing 32 channels to each cardinal direction of our base. Well, 32 P2P tunnels. And of course those, just lots and lots of channels. I'm not using all the channels for each P2P connection. So some of these are used in multiple places. But and this comes up and goes down, basically bringing out 32 channels there, and that's just going to control our crafters. Which actually this one here is completely filled out at this point. And if we go through, you can see like this channel runs through. I'm actually going to facade this to kind of look like a pipe coming through is my plan. And then it comes out, goes over here to the storage, and then you can see it kind of winds its way down, goes to the presses, goes to the HDPE storage. This runs over here, and we've actually kind of got a little setup here. I was going to make it visible, but I couldn't really figure out a good place to make it visible. And this is our power setup. So we've got the ender core, the energized steel, nitro crystal, which I haven't set up the recipe for just yet, but it's in there. And then another one, which I just have turned off at the moment. And then, you know, we can put 4 additional ones on the other side here, or 3 additional, but we won't need that many. We only have like 2 more recipes, I think. 2 or 3 more recipes for power at this point. And if we come down, you can see I've got this all kind of cleaned up. This is the one that runs the multi-item input. This is the one that runs the single item input. I don't actually have any of these things, these energizing rods. I don't have any of those set up just yet. But I did just automate the recipe for those, so I'm going to be setting those up here soon. And you can see our patterns here and here for the single item input. And then these are going to come out as kind of like little walls that come out like 2 blocks, and then there'll be this, and then there'll be that over in there. I think once this room is done, it'll look kind of nifty. Once we actually facade everything, which I'll be starting that soon, because this is pretty much set up the way that I want it. And then beyond that, we just have things ran around, as you might expect. I don't think there's anything on this side. Over here, you can see this comes out. A P2P comes out right here just to do a storage bus on the plastic. And then over here, this one comes out. This one's already set up basically to use the full 32 channels for the dissolution chambers, and that's going to cover pretty much all of our dissolution chambers, and then maybe a couple other things. But of course, not all of these are plugged up at the moment. Just very key recipes are plugged up, and then it comes out on this side and brings out some more channels. We're only going to be using, I think, 16 over here, but we're going to be using 20 because I'm using a little bit different setup here. And what I've done is I've just got export buses here, crafting cards, and they're filling these with enriched obsidian going into, or enriched materials going into the extra slot. And you can see these are already backed up with stuff. One little small trick I do want to make mention of is stuff like this. I've set up the recipes to craft 9 at a time instead of doing singles. There's really no value in doing singles. I'd rather just go ahead and bulk craft up a little bit with these. So it's sending 9 every time it needs to craft that, and kind of crafting that in bulk a little bit. And then this comes down and goes down under the floor to the storage area, and then over here it comes in for just a second to do our one of our crushers. Haven't added acceleration cards to these molecular assemblers yet. Normally I go with 4 around each interface, but this time I'm just going with 2 just so it kind of shapes up to this room. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been working on today, just kind of getting this set up. And I did do a little bit of building, like with this structure over here. I think that was the main building, and then I brought this up and started kind of planning out some things. But anyways, what we're going to be doing today, that's enough rambling about that. But what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be pushing into some new mechanism stuff. We're going to be pushing into the Meksuit. So the Meksuit pieces, they require HDPE sheets, which we've already got. Ultimate control circuit, that's easy. Netherite helmet, or netherite armor pieces, that's easy. Polonium, that's easy. And basic induction cells, which are super simple. They are going to require some lithium dust, but we're going to take care of that in just a moment. But by the way, if you want to see how much polonium we currently have 47. And that is, of course, after using an additional 14 to make the other ME controllers that we needed here. So we did pretty good on polonium. It's just, I hate having to have it turned off right now. But like I said, I need to bug test with the ultimate cables there, I think. So let's go ahead and order ourselves 22 diamond plates. Let's get 4 basic energy cubes. Okay, I need steel. I've got steel. I just have to go grab it because I don't have this plugged up just yet. So let's get 4 of those. And our diamond plates, let's go ahead and just make ourselves a... Oh, actually, I don't need... I've got that. That'll work. I've got that. That'll work. Oh, I didn't even need these. Not even paying attention. I'm just like, hey, I got lots of materials. And I have automation, so let me just make lots of things. Alright, let's go ahead. Throw that in. That in. I may even have netherite pieces, I don't know, from mobs and stuff, but there we go. There's our netherite armor. Let me order the 16 energy tablets that we're going to need, and then we have to do our lithium real quick. So to get our lithium, we're just going to plug up a chemical crystallizer right here. It's that simple, because that's where our lithium's at, and we're going to get some lithium dust. Because I need 16 lithium dust. I'm going to need some more for some of the stuff that we're going to be doing today, I think. And I'm not sure, we may make a mecha tool as well. Oh. We may make a mecha tool, but we'll see. We're definitely going to be making some upgrade modules for the Meksuit. Let's go ahead. There's that. And we're going to want 4 of these. I have a habit of grabbing stuff out of this. I don't have to at this point. We have like an actual AE2 system. So there's that, that, and that. So there's our full Meksuit. And we can throw this on now and look kind of spiffy, but we're covered up with this big blanket. So maybe I need to remove that. So there we go. We look like a RoboCop at the moment with a backpack on. And you can see a little HUD here. At the bottom left, it's going to tell us our direction and our coordinates, which is actually quite nice. on the HUD there, though it is a little bit hard to see at the moment. And at the top, you can see our durability on our armor, basically our power, as well as a bar down there at the bottom. Now, what we're going to do, let's go ahead. A while back, we got ourselves a flux plug and a flux point, or 2 flux plugs, I don't know. We're going to go ahead and... Actually, we don't really need the flux point, we just need the flux plug. And I also want to get... oh yeah, these are the quantum entangler, which is easy enough at this point. Okay, let's get a couple of these quantum entangler for now. And I think the only pulverizer I've got is over in the ore processing building. So we'll just use this one, or the ore processing area. And let me get, I'm going to need at least 6 for the flux storage. So there's that. And then we're going to also need a little bit for the flux controller. 5 of these. Just kind of automating things as they come up at the moment. Oh, I know why I didn't automate that though. I was going to automate it, and then I had I'd ran out of fluix, and I went to make more fluix, and I didn't, because I didn't have an interface and a storage bus. So that's why I didn't do that yet. Okay, so there's our last flux block, and then there's our flux controller. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to set this up in a place, just somewhere kind of accessible. We're going to put it over here in this little area, and we're going to make a network. Let's go with create new network, and we're going to say to Asgaard. We'll just say to Asgaard instead of all the rest of this. And let's go ahead, we can tab through here. We'll just set it to private, create. So that's our network. And we're going to go ahead and select that. You can see everything turns purple there. And what we're going to do, we're going to say, that doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead. Right over here, we're going to click armor slots. We don't really have any curios. We'll go ahead and turn it on though, just in case. Let's go ahead and say hotbar, main hand, offhand, enable wireless. We're going to leave the main inventory because sometimes it can be a little bit bothersome whenever you're trying to make like energy cells and move them somewhere, but you don't want them to charge on you. Sometimes it's actually not too bad with AE2 though, but it is a pain when you're trying to actually craft things without like an auto crafter system. But we're going to go ahead and set that up right there. And then we're going to put in our basic flux storage for now. We'll try to push for gargantuan storage. Maybe at some point. I guess it's not really a big deal on here, but I don't know. We might push for it. We'll see. And then let's come over. This one is fine right here. We're just going to go ahead and put our flux plug in right there, and we're going to go here, select our network, and then if we take a look here, forgot to set my storage, that's why it's not going anywhere, because we don't have any storage. Let's go ahead and do that, and there we go. We're getting 20,000 FE, and you can see, oh, I didn't apply. Let's do that, enable wireless, and hit apply. And now you're going to notice up at the top left, our armor is starting to charge up passively on us here. And that way we can basically keep our mecha suit charged at all times. And you can see our bar right below our armor is filling up. Now the way that the mecha suit works, you'll notice it doesn't have an armor value. It gives us nothing. But it works like Draconic Evolution armor in that as long as you have power, you take no damage. Right? You take no damage whatsoever. Looks like it's prioritizing our boots and our legs over our chest plate and our helmet. Once those hit 100%, we'll probably see those other two skyrocket up. I think we're kind of limited on... we've drained out the network. Basically, we just need to put flux plugs on better things than blazing. And we need to put flux plugs on more things. Just so we can get more power going in. Also, gargantuan storage would be good. We'll probably push for that before too long, because I'm probably going to be automating quantum entangler porters before too long. Okay, but now what we need to do is we need to make ourselves Modification station. Yeah, this right here. This is for applying modifiers to your mecha suit. And let's go ahead and get ourselves a modification station. As far as powering this, let's mix it up a little bit. Let's go with a flux point, just so we can have one of these, I guess. Let's go ahead. There's our network. There we go. It's got power. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make ourselves some modifications. Now, there is also the mecha tool. We'll probably get into that. Takes the atomic disassembler, which is super cheap. Yeah, that's actually really, really cheap. So we'll probably make one. But there's various different modifiers here. Now, as you tab through these, it's going to, if you hold left shift, you can see what it goes on. So mecha suit helmet, there's body armor, there's the helmet, the mecha tool, boots, pants, helmets, body armor, and boots. Silk touches for the mecha tool. You can see energy unit, charge distribution unit, teleportation unit, lots of things here. Now what we're going to do, we are going to be making ourselves a nutritional injection unit, which is going to be an auto feeder. This is going to take a canteen. And at this point, let's go ahead and order, let's just get like 20 module bases. We'll probably end up using more than that, but we'll start off with that. And then let's get the nutritional injection unit. Okay. This goes into our helmet, and what it does is it just passively feeds us nutritional paste, which we're going to get into nutritional paste, but let's go ahead, put that in, and let's put in our mecha suit helmet right there. Boom, there we go. We have the nutritional injection unit. Now you can remove it if you want. So just a heads up there, that's how you are going to be able to remove your modifiers. Now I'm also going to want the jetpack unit, and then we also want to get the electrolytic breathing unit, and ideally we are going to want 4 of these. We're going to go ahead and go for as many. You'll notice that these things will say like if they're stackable. So this one, it says stackable 4. That means we can put up to 4 of them in there at a time. So there we go. There's 4 of those. And at this point, we're pretty much going to be able to toss our Flugel Tiara already. So let's go ahead. We're going to put in our jetpack unit. That goes into the body slot. So there's that. And then we're going to take our helmet, and we're going to add in our electrolytic breathing units. And what this is going to do, this is going to give us a jetpack on our body armor, so we can kind of like fly around. And it's going to take hydrogen, which normally you'd charge it just like you would with the normal jetpack. You know, I've used it in past series. We didn't really use it on here, but if we dive into here, you're going to notice that for one, it's using energy on our helmet. Wow, we move so fast. But you can see that this is going to start filling up with hydrogen because of our mecha suit helmet. Now it is using some power, as you can see. It's kind of like flipping through a little bit of power there. No biggie. So if we hang out in the water, we can also set up like some proper hydrogen stuff, but this is going to allow us to breathe in the water and create that hydrogen. And we'll be able to store up a buffer. Now at this point, I would like to take a look at our mechanism keybinds, since we are going to be doing a little bit with this. Let's set chest mode switch. Jetpack mode, bump to hover. There we go. So now we can just like hover around. We can disable. We can do it in the regular mode, where if you hold spacebar, we float up. So I can kind of toggle it around. I'm probably going to leave it on regular unless I'm needing it for building or something like that. There we go. We filled up our body armor. So we have 48,000 millibuckets of stored hydrogen. You can see we're not using nearly as much power from the mecha suit helmet at this point. And so at this point, I'm going to put our Flugel Tiara away. Because we're probably not going to need it too much. Especially since we can just dive in the water and get all of our flight back. Charge distribution's nice, but with wireless, we really don't need that, to be honest. But energy units, they do not take polonium. That's good, actually, because we're going to want like 8 of those and everything. But we're also going to want this right here. This is radiation shielding. Let's actually go ahead and let me just make like 100 of these. Whenever I craft, I usually just do the 100. 4 of our radiation shielding. And we'll get the inhalation purification unit. And at this point, we really don't need a hazmat suit because now we will basically be wearing a hazmat suit all the time. So inhalation purification, what this does is it's going to block a lot of the potion effects. So we will be able to basically have a lot of potion effect immunity while wearing our mecha suit. And then, of course, we're basically going to have the effects of a hazmat suit. We're going to have flight. We're going to have water breathing. We're going to have more things. We're going to have like super speed, step height, jump. Lots of good things from this. Okay, then let's go ahead. May as well get one of these. This just displays our radiation levels while we're wearing our mecha suit. It's just kind of nice to have. Now, there is the gravitational modulating unit. We will get this in due time. But this is a little bit expensive. The ultimate induction isn't too bad. That's just a lot of like basically tiered crafting. But the antimatter pellets, we're not ready to get that just yet because we need the SPS for that. So we're going to have to run polonium through the SPS to get our antimatter. So we'll get into that later. That's kind of like one of the in-game things, which is going to give us our creative flight. There's also the vision enhancement unit if you need the night vision. Of course, we don't need it because we got a ring for it. May as well just use that because this will use a little bit of power. But if you need night vision, you can get this, and it gets better with each tier that you put in, up to 4. So just a heads up there. Also, solar recharging unit for the helmet. It's kind of nice if you don't have wireless energy because it allows the sun to charge you. But we have wireless energy, so we probably won't worry too much about that, at least at the moment. But we want the hydraulic propulsion unit and the locomotive boosting unit, 4 of each of these. These are for our boots and for our pants. Then we're going to get our hydraulic propulsion, and we are going to get our locomotive boosting. Now we're about to get our speed back. Oh, I only have 6 polonium. By the way, if you're wondering about the colors on this, that's basically your rarity. So you have yellow, which you'll notice it doesn't take any polonium for that. And then you have blue, which is where kind of polonium comes in. And then you have purple, which is like your rare ones that take the antimatter. So if you're wondering about the different colors, that's the purpose of those, by the way. But let's go ahead and we're going to put on our bodysuit, we're going to put in the dosimeter. So that we can see our radiation. And you'll notice at the bottom right down there, you can see our radiation levels. Something I hope we don't have to use, but it's nice just to have it because it's kind of just something that you can just throw on for free, pretty much. Not expensive or anything like that. And then we're going to get our locomotive boosting units. And we're going to get our hydraulic propulsion units. These are going to be the ones that make the biggest impact on our lives. Actually, I'll tell you what, I just thought of something though. Let's keep the Flugel Tiara on us, because if nothing else, it does give us immunity to fall damage. So that's just going to save us some energy. The thing is though, if you don't have the Flugel Tiara on, and if we were to kind of fly up and we fall, you'll notice we take no damage. But this will just kind of save us some power to go ahead and keep it. Plus, we get some nifty little wings on us. But let's go ahead and get ourselves a mecha tool. We may have to push on to the gravitational modulating unit before too long. Maybe. Because beyond the antimatter pellets, it's really not expensive whatsoever. 1,000 millibuckets of antimatter is quite a bit, though. Because it's 1,000 polonium to 1 antimatter. Just to give you an idea, so it's going to be expensive. But with it being on a server, once we can run our reactor again, maybe not too bad. So we might push on for that before too long. Because I would really like to have that. Okay, so there's our atomic disassembler. You know, I didn't really even look to see if there's quests related to... Oh, 8 polonium pellets. So I'll just have to complete that at a different time. What's in that quest? Oh, make all the Meksuit faces. And we get a reward, we get cheeseburgers. Okay, so there is our mecha tool. Now I guess we could go ahead and make like the attack amplification, and we can make the excavation escalation. Just stuff that kind of doesn't take polonium at the moment. I can make like one thing that takes polonium, because without some kind of upgrades, it's just kind of like a junk pickaxe, more or less. But vein mining we're not going to need. And actually that should be good. There's the silk touch one. We don't have silk touch on this, so we may end up getting that. But yeah, the one I really want is the teleportation unit, but it's okay. I just want it kind of because it looks pretty cool on our arm here, because now we have this big like hand cannon thing. But let's go ahead, we'll just throw this in, and then I'm going to show you a couple more things here. But we'll have, basically it'll be able to till soil, strip logs, flatten soil, deal more damage, and increase digging speed. And it can be used for wood, soil, blocks, as a weapon, and just all kinds of nice things. Now in addition, if we go and we hit backslash, that's the default setting, I'm not going to change it, but we can open up this menu here and we can toggle through things. So do we want the nutritional injection unit enabled? True. Do we want it in our HUD? True. Radiation shielding enabled. Inhalation purification. So do we want to remove neutral, harmful? Yes. We don't want to remove beneficial. Electrolytic breathing unit. The jetpack. And we can toggle through how we have this set if we want to do it here. You can see our sprint boost. We can boost this with the locomotive boosting unit, and which we will probably do that, and we can also adjust our jump boost. And the sprint boost, there we go, we're going to buff that up a little bit. And now you'll notice our our sprint, whew, whoom, whoom. So we can run extremely far, and if we are extremely fast, if we jump, let me turn that off. That's our jump height. So pretty decent jump height there. And also the mecha tool, if we open this up, farming unit, you can see our radius here. We can change excavation escalation. We can increase our efficiency. And then we can also increase our attack damage now up to 32. Okay. So this is pretty important. If you're going to throw those upgrades in there, make sure that you open this up, because otherwise it's just going to set it at 8, which of course is kind of meh. But we're gonna tune it up. It will use more power, if I recall, with it tuned up that way. But I've got to turn the sprint down. It's a little bit too much. Just a little bit too much. Let's turn it to like 1. That's a lot more reasonable. So now if we break blocks, you can see we instantly break them with this, with the efficiency turned up. And if we go find ourselves an Enderman, I have to break some of these torches here. There we go. Whoa! Why did I jump so high? Oh, it's because I have sprint. That's my jump height if I'm sprinting. Ew. Oh my gosh. Because it multiplies it. That's nifty. And if we hit this Enderman, you can see he drops down to 4 hearts. I think that's probably more than our sword. Right? Yeah. A little bit more. Now the only negative thing is, of course, we can't have our looting and stuff and our beheading with this, so it's not going to replace all of our tools or nothing for us. Maybe our pick and our axe, even though fortune, buffed up fortune, kind of better, but especially with like fortune auto smell. This is great. Yeah. Let me just jump up here. But the mecha suit especially is a huge upgrade over this armor. I mean, these effects are kind of nice and everything, but we're going to be able to swim pretty quick. Like, if we jump into the water, of course, we do still have our flippers on, but you can see we swim pretty quickly. Okay, now, one other thing I'd like to get is our nutritional module for our helmet. I want to make use of this. So let me get a circuit. Let me get 100 of these. I just order everything by like 100. Alright, so nutritional liquefier, there we go. And do I have everything for an export bus? Let's go ahead and order that. There we go. And also let me get an interface. So can I order one of these? I can. So go ahead and craft me that. Let's pull off this, because I'm going to start putting in more interfaces for crafting slots. And let's make a recipe. And let's make a quick recipe here that says you can do that. And we're going to say allow substitutions because we've got a couple different strawberries here. So we're going to do that. And then let's just drop this into the molecular assembler. So now we know how to make fruit punch. And then what we're going to do, let's pop over, I guess we'll keep it here with the mechanism stuff, I suppose. Yeah, may as well. So we're going to put our nutritional liquefier in here, and we're going to say you input top. So what we're going to do, we're going to put an export bus onto this. We're going to put in our crafting card, and we're going to say fruit punch. Send it fruit punch. So fruit punch is going to start going into here, and it's going to liquefy that fruit punch. And it's going to make, in turn, nutritional paste for us. So this is kind of an auto-feeding system. There's a couple others. Of course, there's the backpack upgrade for auto-feeding. There's also the one from, what's it called? The one from Industrial Foregoing. The one that you eat the nasty meat, right? So it's this one here, the meat feeder. You get to eat the liquid meat. Quite disgusting. There might be some others in this pack. No, I think it's just feeding upgrade, meat feeder, nutritional injection unit. I might be missing one, but maybe not. But this is the one I've been wanting to hold out to get. And so what we can do is we can take off our helmet. We can put this into there, and it's going to start taking that nutritional paste and storing it in. This thing has a pretty large buffer. And let me just order 8 of these and 8 of these. It's so much nicer now having AE2. And like a full system where we have automation and stuff coming together, it's so nice. But you can see nutritional paste building up. I think it stores like 100,000 millibuckets of nutritional paste. It stores up pretty high. But if we have this and we are wearing this, you'll notice that my hunger and saturation just automatically go up. No, we can't. I was curious. Can we turn X3 jelly babies into food? But no. Though fruit punch is honestly super good for us as a food source. So, and this is going to give us, basically once this helmet's filled up, it's going to give us enough food to last us for an extremely long amount of time. Even longer once we get creative flight, because of course you consume a lot less food once you have creative flight. We're going to be changing our astral parks too soon, so we're going to be, I'll probably grab the one for eating less as well. So, well, we're over 100,000 millibuckets. Where will it stop? Okay, 128,000 millibuckets. So that was pretty close. So there we go. Now we have automatic food. And you can see at the bottom right now, right there, you can see that the very bottom right, that little like bag looking thing, that's our nutrition. So right now we have 100% nutritional paste in our helmet. And also, just as a heads up, since our base is getting big, I think it's time that we start setting up some travel anchors. So I'm going to be starting into that. So if you're not familiar with these are kind of like the old Ender IO travel anchors. I just wanted to make a quick mention of them. And for example, let's say, so let's pull this up. We're going to put down a travel anchor here. We're going to open this up. We're going to call this Blood Altar. And then if we exit out, we come a ways away and we have our travel staff. You can see I can target Blood Altar over there, and I can target it through walls and stuff like that. So if I want to... What is this? I feel like that was like... I don't know why that was so high of a jump. Oh, if you're pushing up against a block and then do it, it seems... Let's go back up to my ramp. Whoom. Whoom. Like a rocket. That's just a jump. What insanity. What insanity. I don't know if that's intended, but it's awesome. But then we can take our travel staff and we can find our Blood Altar, right click, and it's just going to take us down. And so I'm going to start spreading these around the base a little bit. That way it's just going to make travel a bit faster. Plus I do get lost sometimes. So there is that. And you'll notice that this, unlike Ender IO, it doesn't take power. No! I figured out the secret. Okay, if you just hold control and then hit spacebar, like, don't be running, and that's how you like skyrocket like that. If you're running, you only jump that high, but just hold control and then hit the spacebar. Oh man. Now you will notice, of course, there is a range to these. So if I come out to right here, I can't go over there, but and these are enchantable. 100 levels, we can stick range 3 on it and increase the range for our travel staff. Let's do that real quick. Alright, so range 3 and soulbound. Perfect. So now we can go out. Let's see how far we can go and still be able to access our Blood Altar. What about way back here? Like, the base doesn't even render back here. No, no travel anchor found. Okay, yeah, so basically about the time that it even begins to think about rendering my base, I can teleport to it. So this will cover my entire base. That's what I wanted. I just want to be able to teleport around my entire base no matter where I'm at. So anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point 4 of this episode, so I'm going to end this one out here. But I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button. I'm gonna waste so much time doing this. I can already tell you. It's like being a rocket at the moment. I go up to like 202 Y level from 98. So I go over 100 block jump height. So there's that. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button. Oh, I'm floating. Oops. Be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already, to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.